Welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled you're here today because we are looking at something that is literally reshaping how modern businesses operate. We're diving right into ServiceNow's highly anticipated 3-year AI blueprint. For years, ServiceNow has basically been the backbone of IT. They were the workflow software that tamed the everyday chaos and, well, kept the lights on. But as we're going to see today, they're executing this massive, massive transformation. They aren't just a workflow company anymore. They are explicitly positioning themselves to be the core operating system of the AI-native enterprise over the next 3 years. We're going to look closely at their massive Q1 2026 data, some major architectural shifts, and exactly how they plan to weave AI deep into the DNA of their business plan. But first, let's set the stage. Look, we all know AI got brilliant very, very fast, right? It could reason, it can write, it can analyze complex code. But here is the massive gap that pretty much every Fortune 500 leader is staring down right now. Raw AI intelligence is really just a novelty if you can't put it to work safely. Businesses are struggling because taking a commoditized AI model and just letting it loose inside a highly regulated, complex enterprise environment, that is incredibly risky without proper execution and strict governance. So the absolute crucial point here is figuring out how to bridge the gap between raw, probabilistic intelligence, which kind of just guesses the right answer, and deterministic, trusted business outcomes.
And the biggest players in the industry absolutely recognize who is positioned to bridge that gap. Take Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA. He recently stated ServiceNow is destined to be the best platform, the operating system of enterprise AI agents. I mean, that is a staggeringly powerful endorsement. NVIDIA is out there providing the raw compute and the underlying model power, but they are looking directly at ServiceNow to provide the operational layer that actually makes those AI agents functional and, more importantly, safe inside the enterprise. This completely sets the stakes for ServiceNow's massive ambitions for the next 3 years.
Okay, let's jump into Section 1, the shift from copilots to control towers. To really understand where ServiceNow is going with their 3-year plan, you have to understand the paradigm shift they are pioneering. Think of most of the AI tools we see today as a GPS. A GPS is incredibly powerful, right? But it only really helps one individual optimize their specific route. It's totally localized assistance. ServiceNow, on the other hand, is building the equivalent of air traffic control. They aren't just helping one person write an email a little faster. They are coordinating thousands of moving parts, enforcing strict safety protocols, routing work across entire teams, and completely disparate systems, all while maintaining a real-time operational view. So while competitors are focused on AI that assists individuals, ServiceNow is building the overarching control tower that manages the entire enterprise system safely.
Which brings us to Section 2, the architecture. Sense, decide, act, and govern.
So how exactly are they building this massive air traffic control system? Let's take a look under the hood at the ServiceNow AI platform architecture. If you look at the foundation, it connects to any cloud and any system of record. We're talking AWS, SAP, Salesforce, you name it. But the real magic is that green layer wrapping around the middle, the AI control tower. This architecture is deliberately designed for absolute neutrality. It doesn't lock you into one single hyperscaler or one specific language model. Instead, it sits right at the center, providing this single pane of glass that seamlessly connects intelligence to execution across every single corner of the business.
And that architecture is really powered by 4 highly interconnected steps. Step 1 is sense. AI needs your enterprise context to actually be useful, so ServiceNow uses its workflow data fabric to connect to over 450 systems, mapping everything into a live knowledge graph. Step 2 is decide. Instead of probabilistic guesswork, the AI models here are totally grounded in your specific enterprise rules and policies. Step 3 is act. Now, this is where most AI just stops, but ServiceNow pushes forward with autonomous execution. It actually goes in and resolves the IT ticket or updates the CRM record. And finally, step 4, and honestly the most important one, govern. Every single decision is auditable end-to-end. They bridge that massive gap between AI's creative guesses and the strict deterministic realities of your business workflows.
All right, let's move to Section 3, real-world outcomes, the Q1 2026 surge. Now let's look at why this 3-year blueprint is so much more than just a theoretical framework. 99%. Just let that number sink in for a second. It's frankly staggering. Inside their own company, ServiceNow deployed their autonomous workforce to handle IT requests. Their internal AI specialists are now resolving assigned IT cases 99% faster than human agents. They are basically proving their own platform's worth by letting teams of AI specialists execute enterprise work end-to-end, with built-in human escalation whenever it's needed. And it's translating directly to their clients across all sorts of industries.
Take Trident Care, for example. They deployed the ServiceNow AI platform to manage operations across 5.4 million annual patient visits. By replacing all that manual coordination with autonomous AI-driven processes, they'd achieved a 96% automation rate in their scheduling, and that resulted in a 57% reduction in patient wait times. This is exactly why this matters. That is the air traffic control model executing flawlessly in a really high-stakes, real-world environment.
And they are aggressively expanding the boundaries of this control tower as part of their future roadmap. In April 2026, ServiceNow secured a massive $4 billion unsecured term loan to finance their acquisition of Armis Security. So the crucial point here is that they are not just resting on their laurels in IT and HR workflows. They are heavily investing in bringing complete orchestration and deep security directly into a single platform. This $4 billion move lays the literal foundation for their commercial business plan over the next 36 months, which is all about completely dominating the agentic enterprise space.
That sets us up perfectly for Section 4, the 3-year vision, the AI native enterprise.
So we've seen the foundation, but what is their explicit roadmap for the future? Well, over the next 3 years, ServiceNow is implementing a complete AI native commercial model. Their central philosophy is actually super simple. AI is not bolted on, it is built in. They're making a very deliberate break from what they call sidecar AI, where you buy a separate, disconnected, intelligent assistant and just try to glue it onto your legacy systems. Instead, they are driving this entire vision through premium monetization tiers like their Pro Plus packages, where AI, data connectivity, and security are built into every single product by default. They are totally shifting from selling software seats to selling autonomous business outcomes.
And the absolute cornerstone of this 3-year integration plan is the launch of the autonomous workforce. We touched on this a bit earlier, but here is the formal definition. These are not just your standard chatbots. These are an entirely new class of AI specialists assigned very specific enterprise roles. The very first one they rolled out right out of the box is a Level 1 Service Desk AI specialist that autonomously diagnoses and resolves common IT support requests. Humans aren't doing the routine, mundane tasks anymore. Humans are escalating to management, while the autonomous AI coworker operates right alongside them within the existing workflows. And over the next 3 years, this blueprint expands way beyond just IT. They're planning to roll out these specialized agents into HR onboarding, customer service, finance operations, literally embedding them in every department.
Which really brings us to the ultimate choice facing enterprise leaders today. Do you try to build your AI agents from scratch, or do you use an AI native platform like ServiceNow? If you build from scratch, well, you're connecting raw APIs, you're starting with total blank slates, and you're trying to manually enforce governance. It is incredibly fragile. But with ServiceNow, your agents inherit decades of encoded operational knowledge. The execution uses pre-built workflows. The context is perfectly grounded in your live CMDB, which is that master database that acts as the single source of truth for your entire IT infrastructure. And the control is entirely managed by that built-in AI control tower. The platform enforces the boundaries, so your innovation can move incredibly fast without creating all this systemic risk. And the stakes for getting this right over the next 3 years, they are incredibly high. Industry analysts currently predict that up to 40% of agent AI projects could fail simply due to governance challenges. As AI coworkers and machine-to-machine interactions multiply across businesses, shadow AI is going to spread like wildfire. Security teams just cannot rely on manual, after-the-fact reviews anymore. ServiceNow's massive bet for the next 3 years is that governance is going to be the deciding factor in the AI race. The platforms that can apply AI safely with perfect auditability and role-scoped permissions, well, those are the ones that will win the decade. Which leaves us with this final, highly provocative thought to chew on. As raw AI intelligence continues to commoditize and literally become cheaper by the day, will trusted execution become your enterprise's most valuable asset? ServiceNow certainly believes so. They are transforming from a workflow company into the definitive AI control tower for business reinvention, proving that the true power of AI isn't just in how smart it thinks, but in how safely and effectively it actually acts. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to keep a very close eye on how this architecture reshapes the corporate landscape in the months and years to come.